Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Daily Magic. My name is SlytherinKnight, and I'm so happy you could join me. So, today's new daily is to cast 30 white or blue spells. I'm not going to focus on the white aspect of this, we're going to be focusing mainly on the blue, because today it is the 18th of March. An update came out to start kind of the pre-order process for the next expansion. What is it? Tarkir Dragon Storm? Yeah, Dragon Storm. And with that, Arena released some new starter multicolor decks. I mean, yeah, you have your single colors that have been here for the longest time that I can remember: Aerial Domination, Keep the Peace, Cold Blood Killers, so on and so forth. But some of these are new. We have Arcane Aerialists, which we're not going to be focusing on this one. I looked at it, I looked through it, not that great. Though a good starter deck, definitely. Learn from the Land, Might of the Legion. I'm actually going to look at this one later to see what other cards they add for that red, because this I'm assuming is a Angels deck. Morbid Machinations, I'll be looking at this one too. Always looking for different Golgari setups. Path of Power, Vampiric Hunger, Reckless Raid, and finally the one we're going to be doing today, Wondrous Wizardry. It's blue and red again. There is a lot of blue in this deck. There's a fair bit of blue in this deck though. And all in all, I just really want to give it a try. Like I said, these are new. These are all new starter decks, and just want to give them a try in standard play. No ranked for this, just to see how they perform. So let's go through them card by card real quick. We have Dive Down. Target creature you control gets +0/+3 and gains hexproof until end of turn. So a good spell to use when you're jump blocking if you don't want to actually lose your creature. Opt. Standard is a standard card. Love it. Burst Lightning for some damage. Lavarunner. Sorry, I was trying to get the first. I don't know if the G is silent or Ghitu, maybe? Ghitu? Lavarunner. As long as there are 2 or more instant and or sorcery cards in your graveyard, this creature gets +2/+0 and has haste. So definitely a creature that you're going to be sending out a little bit later, unless you've already popped an Opt or Burst Lightning or something like that to have, again, as long as there are 2 or more, to make it a 2/2 with haste, which is really nice for a single drop. Chart, of course, not much to say. Drake Hatcher. One I'd probably, if you have the cards, I'd probably add a couple more of. But these starter decks try to fill the deck with as many cards as possible, or as many different cards as possible, it seems like, so I get why. But it's a Vigilant and Prowess, so as you can see, this is kind of a Prowess deck, or maybe at least a little bit of one. Or you have your creatures all have something to do with instants being played and what have you. They all, I guess, are all also wizards. But this one's kind of fun. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, put that many incubation counters on it. Remove 3 incubation counters from this creature. Create a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. So deal damage with it, which should be easier because it is a prowess card. So definitely try to buff it up as much as you can to get as many incubation counters as you can. Mischievous Mystic creates tokens for whenever you draw your second card. Heartfire Immolator, prowess, and then for 1 red, sacrifice this creature. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker. So kind of boost this guy up when you're with casting instants and sorceries, and then once it gets to a suitable level of power, sacrifice it to get rid of something big. Balmor, Battlemage Captain. I didn't realize this got a reprint in Foundations. Cool. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain trample until end of turn. It doesn't say that only happens once, so for every one you cast, they're going to get a plus. Their power just going to keep going up. Fiery Annihilation. Deals 5 damage to target creature. That's a good amount of damage for a 3-cost spell. Exile up to 1 target equipment attached to that creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile it. So it's also an exile spell, which is really nice. And if they have equipment, you get rid of it. Fantastic. Enigma Drake, where its power is equal to the number of instant and sorcery spells in your graveyard. That's pretty decent, especially because that's kind of the idea of this deck, is to use a lot of them. Arcane Epiphany, this spell costs 1 less to cast if you control a wizard, which, again, all of our creatures seemingly except Enigma Drake and maybe Ovika and Tolarian Terror. Do you count? You do. Yeah, except for maybe, yeah, these two don't count, but everything else. So this is a 4 mana cost spell. Draw 3 cards. Nice. Archmage of Runes. Instant and sorceries. Wow. Cost 1 less. That's nice. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card to kind of go along with Mischievous Mystic, and just to give you more cards in hand to potentially play more cheap instants and sorceries. We got the Niv-Mizzet, Visionary. No max hand size. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, draw that many cards. So that's where your Burst Lightning will be coming in, because I think that might be the only form of non-combat damage we have. So, at least at the moment. Tolarian Terror needs a no introduction. Though it's the old copy of the card. This was reprinted in Foundations, I think. Meh. And then Enigma Goliath. Whenever you cast, this is like our big, this and Niv are kind of our big cards for this. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create X 1/1 red Phyrexian Goblin creature tokens, where X is the mana value of that spell. They gain haste. So, nice way to like get this on the field, have it on the field, and probably your next turn start casting non-creature spells to really mess up your opponent's day. So, kind of an interesting deck. We're gonna run with it as is. That means like some of the lands I'm not the biggest fan of, like this enters tapped. Enters tapped. Actually, you know what? I don't really think I have anything better though when it comes to lands for red-blue. So we'll keep this stuff. They're not the greatest. So that is something, if you have the lands, I would definitely change. But if you don't, I mean, it is a starter deck. So I don't really expect to win very much with this deck, just because it is a starter deck. There are just better options you can go with. But I'm willing to give it a try. Like I said, these are new. These are all new. I want to give it a try, except for the aerialists. I just don't really care for the brief look I didn't care for it. So, but maybe we'll try it some other day. I don't know. But we're kind of like, we're running towards the end of the season. Doesn't seem to be the right word, but we're heading towards the end of the season for this expansion. So I'm willing to try some things out. Let's see. Enters tapped. This isn't a bad hand. You know, Chart of Course is kind of nice. 2 of them. Go ahead and do that. Gain some life from it. Okay. Up the beanstalk with green and white. Interesting. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and do this. Do you have haste? No, you have flying. Let's go ahead and send out the Drake Hatcher. See what we can do with that. Maybe. Unless they get rid of it. Overlord. Gotcha. Alright. So. Let's go ahead and do... Let's do this. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to chart a course. See what else we can get. We're going to drop the Terror for now. I don't really think that's going to be overly helpful at the moment. Though, no, actually, no. We're not going to drop the Terror. We are going to drop the other Chart of Course. Yeah. And it's 3 incubation counters. Okay. And hey, if they get rid of it, that forces them to get rid of it, so... kind of forces, maybe forces a turn, but... they do have a little bit of blue. Oh. The white is more important. Unfortunate. Okay, Enigma Drake, or... I think we're going to go with the Drake. Yeah, we'll go with the Drake. So that I can play this next turn, have some leftover mana to be able to cast some spells. Either way, I would have been able to protect Enigma Drake. Depends on what they do here. They're going to all graveyards. Ah, well done. Well done. But what's next? This is a domain control deck. I wonder if this is the one... They do have a few decks offered in the store right now, like champion level decks, and I feel like this might be one of them, or at least it's similar. So, yeah, all they had was a land, and all I had 3 cards, but yes, it gets rid of... Enigma Drake can't do anything now, but... Alright, another chart, of course. So let's see. I'm gonna go ahead. No, we're gonna send out. Yeah, we'll send you out. And go ahead and chart a course. And we are going to drop. Wait, oh, they continue to be exiled. Gotcha. Right, did not realize that. Interesting. No, yeah, that is a bit of a problem. There's not much I can do against that. No, there's no equipment. So I can send out either of these next turn. Probably going to go with the Tolarian Terror. They're just playing that straight. Yep. I mean, they should be able to easily deal with that, so, yeah. It is unfortunate they had, like, exactly the card they needed to completely counter this deck. Well, like I was saying, probably not going to win this one. But I'm willing to try. Nope. That one is ward 3 and pay 3 life, but still, they have life to spare and plenty. Yeah, Leyline Binding. I'm just gonna insult to injury. Jeez. Alright, we'll let them attack, and then I'm just gonna concede. You gotta get rid of something. Hand's way too big. Alright. We'll play this just for the whatnot. For the why not. Acknowledge it, and then wrap it up. So that is at least a preview of one of the new decks. I admit they're not overly strong. At least that wasn't. Though that was kind of an odd case of our opponent had the exact card, or had the exact mechanic that completely invalidated the deck, where anything that would go to the graveyard is exiled instead. That completely destroys that deck. So yeah, so that's just kind of a little bit of unfortunateness. So it is what it is, I guess. Completing the 25 lands did level us up, and as you saw, we have a pack to open, so let's go ahead and get to that. Get our free mythic wildcard. Nothing too awe-inspiring here. This is Foundations, so it is the set before this one. Raise the Past. This has been used against me, I think, in a couple of different episodes where it was the deciding factor in my loss. But, yeah, not a bad card, especially if you're running something that has a lot of low mana value creatures, just to overwhelm your opponent. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. Just wanted to try something a little bit different, to seeing as how the new starter decks have been released. The description for the deck will be, or the deck list, excuse me. The deck list for the deck will be in the description, as I usually do for my own decks, just in case you guys want to look at it, though like I said, it is just readily available. Go to your decks, starter deck, and it's right there. I did not make any changes. So yeah, I'll still go ahead and just put it in the deck list as usual, in case you guys want to see like a readout of it to analyze it, if that's what any of you want to do. Anyway, like I said, that is going to do it. So if you enjoyed this episode, which I do sincerely hope you did, please feel free to hit that thumbs up button down below. And if you do happen to be new to the channel, hello, welcome, and please do consider subscribing. And to stay up to date for whenever new content is released, don't forget to hit that bell icon after you subscribe. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you all next time.